Welcome back. Okay, so now we are looking at multiplying and dividing integers. So the rules that we have to remember for multiplying and dividing integers are the following. If you have a positive times a positive, it gives you a positive. If you have a negative times a negative, it gives you a positive. If you have a positive times a negative, it gives you a negative. And if you have a negative times a positive, it gives you a negative. Some people like to clarify this or think about this as if the signs are the same, they give you a positive answer. And if the signs are different, they give you a negative answer. For division, it looks like this. A positive divided by a positive is a positive. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. So it's that same idea. If the signs are the same, you get a positive result. If you have a positive divided by a negative, it's negative. And if you have a negative divided by a positive, it's negative. So again, it's that idea that if they're different, then it's going to be negative. Now notice I didn't do a really nice note here and make this beautiful because I don't want you to look back to it. I want it to be something in your memory. It needs to be something that you can use. So if the numbers have like sign, then the answer is positive. If the numbers have unlike signs, then the answer is negative. And we get this different way of setting things up. And you'll just think about it, right? And we'll know the answer. We won't have to memorize it. We're just going to know it inside out. So when you do questions, my suggestion to you, and this is different than what you've been doing before, do it in 2 steps. Get this number and then go after the sign. Okay? So right away, don't worry about the signs. This is multiplication. So it's 4 times 7, which is 28. Don't worry about the sign. It's positive times negative. They're different. It's negative. Do it in 2 steps. If you do it in 2 steps, you'll get it right. So this is a negative 4 times a 7. We don't need the brackets around the negative 4 if it's in front. So it's 4 times 7, which is 28. But it's negative times negative, which is positive. So we can put the positive sign, or it's understood to be positive if I don't have a sign there. Negative divided by positive. So the signs are different, so the answer is going to be negative. See how I did that separately? And then it's 12 divided by 3 is 4. I like to do the number first, not the sign first, but it can be done the other way around. 12 divided by 3 is 4. Negative divided by negative is a positive, or we just write it with a positive. Now notice something. This, negative 12 divided by 3, and this are the same thing. Now, one's positive, one's negative, and they're not identical, but what I'm trying to say is that if I have A divided by B, it could be written as A over B. That those 2 ideas are the same. It's 2 different ways of showing division. Although one of them, we're familiar talking about it as a fraction, right? So in fact, a fraction is division. And that's going to be something that we'll talk more about. So 1 times 6 is 6, times 4 is 24. A negative times a negative is a positive. A positive times a positive is a positive. See how I did that? Nice and slick. 20 divided by 2 is 10. Plus, 20 divided by 2 is 10. 10 divided by 5 is 2. Negative divided by negative gives me a positive. Divided by another positive leaves me with a positive. 100 divided by 5 is 20. Divided by 2 is 10. Divided by 10 is 1. Negative divided by positive is a negative. Negative divided by negative is a positive. Positive divided by a negative is a negative. So you just go slow, okay? Do the numbers first, then do the sign. Next, we should review exponents. And we should be very, very clear that there's a difference between this and this. There's a very big difference between those two. This one, the base, which is the bottom number, that's your base. This 3 is called your exponent. The entire thing is called a power. Now, sometimes we cheat and we call that an exponent. It's not. It's a power. Only this is the exponent part, the 3. So, this base is -2, which means with the squared, it means -2 times -2, so that there are 2 of them. 2 times 2 is 4. Negative times negative is positive. This is very different. The base is just the 2, not the negative. There's no brackets around that negative, right? So this is -2 times 2. It's just the base of the 2 gets multiplied by itself twice. So this is 2 times 2, which is 4. -4. They're very different answers. I need you to understand the difference, and I'm going to test you on it. So, 3 squared, or a base of 3 with an exponent of 2, means a base of 3. 3 times 3, so there's 2 of them, gives us 9. -4 squared means your base is -4. It's -4 and -4, positive 16. -4 squared is different. The base is only the 4. That's right. Or another way to think of it as 4 times 4 with the negative on the outside. But yes. -5 is the base here. So this will be -5 times -5 times -5, because there's 3 of them this time. The exponent's 3. So that'll be 5 times 5 is 25, times 5 is 125. Negative and negative is positive, times negative is negative. There you go. I'm just pausing so that the studio audience has a chance to copy this down. If you're watching this at home, you can pause the video at this point. Let's take a look at what's coming next. We have some review questions on a sheet. We have answers to the review. Oh, let me pull back a bit here. Let me see what we have here. So we're going to have some review questions. These are the answers to the review questions on the front, but you're going to notice that they write the question out and then give you the answer. Or you can use photo math, but these are answers to the questions in the front. And then we'll come back and we'll talk about order of operations in a moment.